Welcome, fans, to episode 85 of Rangers Ed. This is your host, Cousin Ed, and here with my co-host, Little Ed. What's up, buddy?
How we doing? I'm glad to be back out of the New York City subways and back on the screen with you guys.
And we got Coach Ed. What's up, Coach?
Going on.
And
Big Devils
producer.
win last night in person. It was great to see.
It was not a Devils win, but yeah, big win
Rangers
against
win.
the Devils.
Whoa.
Yeah, all right, let's start over. And we got the Mikey Produces over there with his white wall. What's up, Mikey?
Not much, guys. I'm loving Coach's black V-neck over there. I don't know what that is.
It could be a Rangers Ed podcast shirt, not revealed yet.
Noticing some new headgear that I currently don't have.
Baby. Got the new Rangers Ed 3D embroidered hats, courtesy of Long Island Hockey Company. Cousin Ed is unfortunately waiting for his in the mail. So
hopefully it's in the mail. So
head on over to the YouTube, and these are going to be featured on our merch store pretty soon. So they're fantastic. New era, lightweight. What is it? Kind of like a mesh material.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. You know, snapbacks and fitteds.
Mike,
I sported it for the first time at Madison Square Garden last night.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Did anyone ask you what it was?
No.
Mike, you got to take that sticker off that top, though.
No, that's how you wear a hat, guy.
I put it under.
All right. Ed, is your sticker on?
No, I take mine off.
All right. You took the sticker off. At least.
Nah, you leave them on.
Nah.
What do you leave them on for?
It's
That's
called
the style.
Nice, Coach.
That's the style in the hood. The flat brim, the sticker.
Okay. On that note,
Coach Ed's neighborhood. Coach Ed's neighborhood.
Yeah.
This is the style in Coach Ed's neighborhood. The round brim, no flat brims in Coach Ed's neighborhood.
There you go. And mine's kind of round. So,
all right.
Yeah, head on over to the YouTube. Check out the hats, guys.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move into the jersey numbers sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. Number 85, never been a Ranger. And interesting, I got curious because it's not very common numbers. I looked it up. Only 13 players in NHL history have worn number 85. So it's a really rare number.
I think that's a lot.
Well, it's not
for
that many.
number?
Right, for that number, maybe.
Yeah.
But realistically, when you look at, number 30, there's been thousands of players to wear that number, right? I mean, it's only 13 have worn it. Coach, you remember a guy named Peter Klima?
Yes.
So he wore 85. He's probably the most famous
Peter Klima was on Washington, wasn't he?
He was on. I remember him on Detroit.
A couple of teams. Detroit?
I remember him on Detroit. I don't remember him on Washington, but
I don't remember him being number 85.
So currently there's only 3 85s in the whole league. So, we'll see. No Ranger ever, so we'll get into that. But
you get bonus points in the trivia if you could pronounce Semyon der Argishtortev.
Semyon der Arguchintsev.
There's no way you said that right.
Semyon der Arguchintsev. Look it up.
I'm talking about
Coach. Not you.
Oh, no, Coach said it wrong. So he's a Maple Leaf. He wears 85. But anyway, so prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 12-10-5. Since the last episode, 3 straight wins, 1 in a shootout, 1 in overtime, and 1 in regulation. They're 15-10-5. 35 points, 4th in the Metro, tied for 9th in the NHL. On the road in Vegas and Colorado, back-to-back wins. They came home last night. Coach Ed was at the game against the Devils. Nice comeback victory in overtime, 4-3. Big win against the Devils, definitely. One thing to note, Ryan Carpenter was waived, sent to Hartford. Johnny Brodzinski looks like he's locked down that 4th-line center role. We may get to that a little later. But, Coach, 3 straight wins for the Rangers. They've been struggling coming into these games. 3 straight wins. They lose to Chicago and then St. Louis. Well, sorry, 4. It's really 4 straight wins.
Yeah.
Well, it's 3 straight wins since the last episode. 4 straight wins. St. Louis, Vegas, Colorado, New Jersey. Some pretty good opponents. I know Colorado's been banged up. Blues have been struggling a little. But Vegas, they were missing Eichel. They were missing Pietrangelo. Fine. And the Devils, number 1 team in the Eastern Conference with Boston. Pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the results. right, Coach?
I mean, you're happy. That's not the way it seemed like on the text messages, but
Well,
I'm very happy.
the
very
results.
happy with the 4-0-0 because if this was 2-2 in those 4 games, the season could have possibly been bleak.
Yeah, I mean,
to come in and beat Vegas, even though they were missing a couple of guys, they beat them handily, which they should, with missing those 2 players, and they did. You know, the Blues are on a level that the Rangers are right now. They're struggling somewhat, and they beat up on them. They came back and beat up on them a little bit. And the Devils game last night, Avalanche are beat up, but if they lose that game, everybody's like, "Well, it's the Avalanche," but you know what? They won, so it's a big win no matter what.
It's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations. If they lost, then they're like, "Oh, well, Avalanche beat them without these players." Blah blah blah. They still had
Right.
McCarr. McCarr was still playing phenomenal. They had some guys out there that, I mean, Shesterkin had to make some big saves.
Yeah, I mean, Shesterkin played out of his mind in that game. What do you have, like 40, 44 saves or something? I forgot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, still defending Stanley Cup team, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, he had 41 saves. So I put it wrong in the outline. He had 41 saves on 42 shots in that game. He played out of his mind. And I thought Colorado, even with those big guys out, yeah, they didn't score a lot of goals, but they carried the play in the first period. And Shesterkin played really well. So look, a win's a win. There's two ways to look at this. You want the team to win, but you also want the team to be heading in the right direction and the underlying facts or circumstances to support the fact that they're winning. So yeah, Coach, I complain a lot. I really I'm over Gerard Gallant. Like I'm completely over it. Nothing is gonna. If the Rangers win the Stanley Cup this year with Gerard Gallant, I'm still gonna hate him.
No,
it doesn't matter. No, I'm
That's
past
ridiculous.
I'm
That's
past
ridiculous.
him.
That's just ridiculous.
dude.
That's just ridiculous.
It doesn't
They
matter.
win 4 games in a row. He makes changes, and you got nothing but. You're like a Yankee fan. It's like
No,
sad.
I'm not. No,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not.
are. Because you listen to the radio sometimes, and when the Yankees lose, like they go 8-2 in 10 games, and the Yankee fans are complaining about all little petty shit. They'll complain about the coach. Why didn't he bunt this guy? Why did they won 8 games out of 10, and you're complaining? I don't understand it.
Well,
You're entitled to your opinion, but
I'm complaining because I don't credit him with doing anything to result in those victories. I think he's jerking around the kids. They're losing confidence. I don't like the way he changes lines. He gets interviewed.
Losing confidence. They're playing great. I don't understand where you see that.
I see them losing confidence. Yes.
Okay.
So when you look, Coach, I texted all of this. If you read my texts and
I didn't even read that last night. I could have read War and Peace. Text message. I showed Aaron at the game. At the game. I go, you want to read this? It's like reading Harry Potter. I didn't even read
it. Aaron, can you give me the Cliff Notes?
Yeah.
This text. So yes, I think,
I mean, if you're going to tell me they're losing their confidence, and again, watching it live, that line is those kids are playing great.
Okay.
I'm even going to put Heedle up.
So what happens
there?
So let's put the kids line together. We'll play them 11 minutes a game, no special teams, no responsibility in the third period, and they'll never develop, and they'll score 25 points and be third liners. And that's what we got a first and second overall pick for, instead of to go and play with elite players and develop and take this team to the next level. And if that's not going to, they may do well in some circumstances as a kid line, but they should not be on that line. Kakko and Lafreniere get promoted to Zibanejad's line, immediately have success. A game later, they struggle in the first period. He changes it. It makes no sense to me. And they get interviewed. Both of them get interviewed and both say, playing with Mika gives you a lot of confidence. It's like, wow, I definitely am learning a lot from Mika. It's so exciting to play with Mika. And then he's off Mika's line. Right?
What game was he off Mika? What game was he off Mika's line?
Last night.
Okay. What was the score in the first period?
So let's change the lines. Every time we're losing after the first period, change the lines.
That's a coach's job. That's a coach's job.
Coach, you just said last episode you want to keep the lines together to give them 3 to 4 games together. Now you're saying change the lines?
I'm not there. I didn't say change the lines. they obviously saw something as a coaching staff. They were losing 2-1 at the time, or 2-0 after the first. I don't remember exactly. They made a change and they came back and won.
Okay.
So I don't know where you don't give the coaching staff any credit.
So keep those lines together. Let's put Gaudreau with
Maybe
Panarin
for
as
a
the manager.
particular
Good
game
line.
to match up certain players, that's what they saw. You know, that's a coach's job, just like in football,
You
basketball.
give him too much credit, coach.
I'm not. Look, they're on a 4-game winning streak, and he's making changes along the way, and they're winning. If they would have made those changes and lost last night, then I would have been complaining. But I'm not going to complain.
Do that.
I'm not going to complain about changes, and they won.
You can't do that because results are not always created by the choices. You have to judge choices at the moment they're made.
But I am
based
saying
on
the results of last night's game were created by those changes.
If you're a general in war and you decide we're gonna invade the South here, right? You're the Union general, right? You're Grant, and you're gonna invade. You're gonna attack, and all the signs point to this being the right decision. And all the evidence presented is this is the right decision. And then you attack and you get slaughtered. You're going to judge that general and say that was a bad decision? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to say that was the right decision he made and it turned out bad. You should do that. You should judge decisions. Decisions are made by information presented to you.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm judging his decision to change that line based on the result.
But you said it's based on the result. Yeah, they won. If they lost, what would you say?
Well, it worked. It worked.
Okay, sure.
If it didn't work, then you could say, I don't agree with his decision.
We'll see what the lines are next game.
We will. We'll see what, he's making changes in situations against certain teams.
Right.
And if it's working, it's working.
What's that Mikey producer chime in?
Well, no, I'm going to try to feed both of you. If he comes out and plays the lines the way they were, doesn't go with those changes against the Devils, do you think that was the right move then at that point? To do that during that game, would you then go ahead? Right,
me.
I'm asking you. If Gallant comes out regular lines, not the funky lines he did against the Devils, would you say that okay, Gallant made a right choice against the Devils, or do you still feel the same way you feel?
I would say it's more likely that it's what Coach just said, that it was an in-game adjustment. But I don't see Gallant making in-game adjustments. I don't see him good at that. He's not good at tactics. He's not good at strategy. He just shuffles the lines. He's just like, oh, let's try this. We haven't tried this yet. And then they struggle for a period, and he's like, oh, let's shuffle it again. Let's put this guy out there. He benches this guy for no reason. He puts this guy in for no reason. I don't see any thought process other than just like taking chances with his decisions. So I'm frustrated with him. And yes, I'm happy the team is getting results. That's great. I want the team to win. I don't want them to lose, obviously. But I don't think any of these young forwards will develop into star players under Gerard Gallant. It's not happening. It's just not happening. So just put that out of your mind. No Ranger fan should expect it. They're not going to score more than 30, 35 points with this coach, period. We're going to have Gaudreaus and VCs forever in the top six. It's just the way it is. It's the way
VC's not in the top six, first of all.
Well, he was for 20 games.
All right. Now he's not. Now he's not.
Well, now Gaudreau
he's not. And if you were a Ranger fan, you got Trocheck goes to the third line. He's not a third line center in the NHL. And he's playing third line
and Hedl.
Well, he took the spot and he's going with it. And he's playing good. He's not crying. He's not complaining. He's taking his role. And every player cried is on the third line. He's been a first line player for 2 years. He's not doing anything but hustling. If you watch the game
30 years old, nobody's talking about them not hustling.
If you watch the game last night, they did a great job of getting the puck behind their D, which they should be doing in certain games, and they limited the cross ice bullshit, and they kept the puck in the Devil's zone a lot more. If you watch the game, so there is a strategy involved that you're saying there's no strategy, but they did a good job last night. Seeing it in person was very good to see.
Let's let Little Ed chime in. I've been venting a lot here. Coach egged me on early.
Can I refuse to take the stand?
No, you don't have to take a side. You can play the middle or whatever, or you can take a side. I'm just curious what your thoughts are. I mean,
no, I'm not a huge fan of shuffling the lines. I think they got to try and get something going. I mean, but at the same time, we're not there at practice. So I mean, I don't know what they're doing in practice. I don't know if he shuffles the lines in practice as much as he does in games, and it's tough. I mean, it's hard to argue with success, but at the same time, I mean, I'd like to see like just consistent lines. Lastly, I mean, I think a good hockey team doesn't define their lines 1, 2, and 3. The Rangers should just have 3 solid lines. So I don't really I don't care if Trocheck is on the third line, the second line, or the first line, in my opinion.
I agree
Same
with
thing.
that. They have 3 good
Same
lines.
thing goes. Yeah, same thing goes for Panarin, Zibanejad. All these guys should be interchangeable in a way. Because I mean, come playoff time, I mean, I'm not trying to say that he's preparing for playoffs, but come playoff time, there's injuries. Players have to be moving around up and down the lineup. That's how a good team wins the Stanley Cup, is where everyone can play with everybody and everything's just working as a machine. You know, so like I said, I don't think we should really stress on like first line, second line, third line. Because like even if Kreider's on the third line, he's still getting the same amount of time probably as like guys that are on the quote unquote first line. No?
Yeah, he played more time than all the kids. Trocheck played more than Hedel. So I don't know what this third line nonsense is. Trocheck played 20
Well,
minutes
that's because they got the power play. How many
minutes?
power?
2 minutes of power play time. So
right.
Trocheck had 20 minutes and Hedel had 14:49.
All right. So that's, if you take away the 2 minutes, they're only 2 minutes different.
3.5.
All right. That's Trocheck's
That's
a bona fide
lot.
NHL.
That's four
Trocheck's a
shifts.
bona fide NHL player. Hedel's been struggling on and off, so don't make like Hedel's this end all be all guy.
Hedel's on pace
He's
for
lucky
just
he
as
got.
many
He's
points
lucky.
as Trocheck.
The guy Robertson only gets 14 minutes a game. He's got 20
What?
goals. Yeah, the guy on Dallas. They
No
said
chance.
he gets 14. All right, look it up.
There's no chance, Mike. Look
All right,
up how much. Look
it
up.
up. I
His time
saw
on
the
ice.
interview. He gets like 14 to 15 minutes a game.
There's no way. He's
Okay.
their best player. There's just no chance that's true. He
All right.
plays power play. That can't be true. I'd be shocked.
That's what he said. That's what the coach said in the interview.
But anyway, look, you coach. I'm just.
So you want to
noticing
give Hedel more time than Trocheck? You tell him.
I want
he
Hedel
gets
to be
2
the
goals.
second line center. Yes, I
He
want Hedel with
is.
Panarin as the second
He
line center.
is.
And I want him
He
to play
is.
accordingly. I play him accordingly.
He
Period.
is playing accordingly. He doesn't deserve power play time. So
Doesn't look
that.
like it. Looks like he's playing with Lafreniere and Kakko, playing less than the 7th, 8th, and 9th most time on ice of all the forwards.
Oh, that's
what it
the
looks
way
like.
it goes. They're winning
After
4 games in a row.
everything, after
winning
everything I
4
just said,
games
you
in a
guys
row,
are still
so why-
arguing about second line versus third line.
I know, Ed. I agree with you to an extent, but I don't think that's practical. I don't think that is the way it is. I mean, yes, you might be able to say like, okay, with Zibanejad's line and Panarin's line, they're interchangeable, fine. But if you put a kid line together and then you have those 2 lines, that kid line is the third line. They're not the same. They're not being treated the same. They're not on the ice for the final 5 minutes of the game. They didn't play. They
That's
weren't
why
out
I'm
there. I
saying
texted you guys, where are the kids? Where are they playing? He didn't put them out there.
Yeah, I think
Jack
I
Hughes
think
played
we
the
should-
last
I don't
6 minutes
believe-
of a game. He
I
plays the
don't
last
believe
6
that-
minutes for the Devils.
I don't believe
That's
they weren't out
ridiculous.
there in the last 5 minutes.
I did not see them out there. I didn't
Well, that
see them.
doesn't
If
mean
they
they
were out
weren't
there, it
out
was
there.
a 20-second shift or something.
You don't
I'm
see
saying-
a lot. I'm learning that you don't see a lot.
Okay, coach. Look, you can disagree with me all you want, but you can't question my knowledge of the game, my years of experience playing
You
the
know what you
game.
can't-
I know
you
the
know what
game
you-
just as well as anyone here. And I
No,
watch the games very closely, and I
Well-
don't agree with you. They're not used in that role in the last 5 minutes of the game.
Oh,
Period.
Quick question, and then I think we should move on from this topic. But speaking of, Gallant not developing the young players, because I do kind of see that. I do see your point in that. Would you rather Laffy, Kakko, Hito be average for, let's just say, the next 5 years and the Rangers win 2 cups? Or would you rather them all be like a Jack Hughes and on the cover of NHL?
I'd rather
and
win the
not
2
win the
cups,
cup.
but that's not what's gonna happen. In
don't
order
know
for
that.
the
I'm not-
Rangers to take that step,
I wanted
and
your
win the
honest
cup,
opinion. That's all.
I want the cups, obviously. If you told me right now that deal, Mike, I would sign up for those cups and deal with them being average players. But that's not the way it's going to work out. The way it's going to work out is those kids will be average because they will not be developed properly. They'll probably be traded and developed elsewhere, right? Like Nils Lundqvist right now has more points than Kakko. It's ridiculous. So
I think
the
Kakko
kids
and
go
Laff-
elsewhere and
I
do
think
well.
Kakko and Laffy are more playoff ready than Hughes is. I can't wait to see Hughes in the playoffs. I can't wait.
The kid is dynamic. He's
dude,
already a
okay.
top 15 center in the league.
We'll see. We'll see how he plays in the playoffs when he's actually getting hit.
He's unbelievable. You see the kid. He gets 2 breakaways a game. His puck skills, his vision. He's
Regular
a phenomenal
season.
player. I agree. I think playoff might be an issue for him, but regardless, anyway, enough of me venting about Gallant and coach telling me I don't know shit about hockey. So positive notes about young kids. Braden Schneider continues to impress. I mean, the kid just is awesome. He's playing now with Keandre on the second pair. And he looks better than Trouba in that role, So with defensemen, the team seems to pump out these young defensemen, Fox, Miller, Schneider now, Little Ed. I mean, I can't say enough about Schneider. And he's got like an offensive touch to his game that I wasn't expecting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's definitely gaining the confidence without a doubt. I mean, it's a lot easier to develop defensemen because it's a lot easier to give them more playing time. And I mean, you look at a guy like Schneider and Jones and Hayek, they all spent a lot of time in Hartford. And that's the same thing as we talked about last episode when we were all on the same page. Clearly, we're not on the same page anymore. That Kakko and Laffy, all the Hedel, they all should have spent time in Hartford. And that's like pretty much plain and simple. I mean, Hughes obviously took a jump start developing because he's been playing 20 minutes a game when the Devils have been in last place. So...
But it's not just that, Ed. It's also playing those 20 minutes without fear of benching or repercussions and just being allowed to.
Because they had no one else to play, but whatever.
Well, he's not. He's
all right.
allowed
Let's
to
stop
make
talking
mistakes.
about that. Let's just end it. Let's just.
Yeah,
End
I was
that.
just
it's a
I was
huge
comparing
point.
I was comparing the defensive development to the forward development. But either way, yeah, Schneider looks great. Schneider looks awesome.
And then they had a stat at the Garden last night on the screen that he's got 4 goals since November 23rd, I think. That's more than any other defenseman in the league, I think it said the 23rd.
Richard
That's
Sam
my
and
last,
Joe
like,
said something about that too.
In the last 10 days or something.
Yeah, he's definitely a beast. There's no question he's going to be a good one. So he's playing well.
Hopefully, Eddie ordered my jersey on Pro Stitch.
He's playing well, and Hedel as well. 14 points in 22 games this year. Gets the game-winning goal against New Jersey. 5 years in the league now, starting to grow into his body a little bit. Plays with a good pace. Very happy with Hedel's development. Coach, you're at that game. Hedel gets the game winner. You got to be happy at least, right?
Wait, he's starting to grow into his body. Did you see
I'm not even going to
picture I sent you?
He's starting to. I said, Ed, starting to.
Oh, his 16-year-old prepubescent body. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. No, he is. He's plays a decent, strong game. I mean, I like the kid. He's in on the boards. He's carries the puck into the zone. He's a good passer. He's got a great shot when he takes it. I got
he
no
hits the
issues with
net.
it. Yeah, I mean, he's developing nicely. So be curious to see what kind of contract he gets in the offseason if they can even afford it. They may end up having to deal him. But Coach, come on, say something good about Hedel. It's a positive.
You just said that none of the youngsters are developing, and then now you're saying that he's been developing well. So I'm confused. My head's just spinning.
I think he
And
earned.
Gallant's not
earned more
developing
ice
him
time.
at all. Now you're saying he is, but he did play well last night. He's skating well. I noticed on the back end he's getting back in a better position. That team is very fast. The Devils. Every player they create a lot of that. Like they lose the puck, they stop and they get it. It's you don't have a second and a half to make a decision in the neutral zone when you have the puck as the opposing team. And he was doing well covering his open man. I was watching him a lot.
Yeah, you sound like Micheletti now. You said it like 30 times last game.
I didn't see the game, so it must be happening then.
He did. He said you got about 1 second to move the puck before there's a guy.
I'm telling you see it in person. And it's incredible.
Yeah.
But the Rangers beat them on the power play. They had a great power play going. Every power play, they were getting opportunities and they were moving the puck well. They were getting it to the weak side after the Devils attack. They made a lot of good decisions and they were beating that pressure. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the power play, Mika Zibanejad up to 10 power play goals on the year. I think he's second in the league in power play goals. He gets 2 power play goals against Vegas on the same shot. He's got 5 goals and 5 assists in his last 10 games. Continues to rack up points, but I feel like he's got more too. I feel like there's more for him to give, right? I mean, on a night in, night out basis, consistent wise, but he's been red hot with the points lately. I mean, Little Ed, what's your assessment as a Zibanejad lately? Outside of the points.
I think he definitely has another gear, like you said. I don't really see. I was thinking yesterday, he doesn't really have that high flying speed through the neutral zone. I think he's getting most of his points by playing smart and playing hard in the offensive zone. He's not getting a lot of fast breaks, I don't think. So I think he definitely has another gear. I don't know if that's just the way the other team's playing against him, or if he's just playing a little bit more smarter and not trying to carry the puck as much, which I don't really dislike. So, but I don't know. He's definitely putting up the points. He's definitely producing, but I think, like you said, there's something else he can give.
Yeah, I mean, he's on pace for 41 goals and 90 points right now. But Coach, your eye test of Zibanejad, do you think there's more there to give, or are you happy with his play overall?
I mean, as long as he's putting up those numbers, he's doing the right things in the games. I mean, I don't see missed back checks. I mean, I did see the Colorado game I was watching the other night, and he did miss he makes a mistake on covering, getting back in a 3-on-3. I think we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. He does that a lot. He plays the wrong guy. He goes at the puck. But other than that,
leaves the high slot open a lot.
Yeah, and he goes to the puck, and they had an opportunity in Colorado in the first period that Shesterkin made a great save on. But I mean, other than that, he's in the right position in the defensive zone. He's making good plays in the neutral zone that I noticed last night. I mean, the first 5 minutes of the game when the Devils went up 2-0, it looked a little bleak, but they came back. I thought Shesterkin could have saved the first one, but
yeah, he definitely could have saved it. I think it was tipped, but it was still a savable play.
But I mean,
to save that one,
just to say they came back and played well, and they came back, and that was like last year. They would go down that 2-0. Yeah, that would go down that 2-0 and hang in there. I mean, the penalty shot save was the key to the whole game. 4-1, it's going to be real tough.
Yeah. Yeah, Ed, you said you didn't even think that should have been a penalty shot?
I don't think so either.
No.
He fell.
Not that he fell. I mean, it could have been a penalty, but he didn't. I thought the rule is that you had to have 2 steps on the guy or whatever.
Yeah,
it seemed like it was kind of yeah, and it was only if he did have a breakaway.
Look up the rule for a penalty shot, the exact wording.
Even if he did have a breakaway, I feel like he only had that breakaway from maybe the top of the circle to the hash. It wasn't a clear cut breakaway, and Keandre came and just took his legs out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a
close one.
It was an in between bang bang play. If it wasn't Hughes, I guarantee he doesn't get that penalty shot.
Well, it looked like to me he made the move on Keandre.
They want to try and highlight Hughes. That's fine. If the NHL wants to do that, then they're highlighting Shesterkin also.
Yeah, he made a great save on that play. That was great.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Penalty shot is awarded when a stick or any other object is thrown onto the ice from the players or penalty bench at the opponent on a breakaway, and the puck is in the neutral zone.
I did that once in youth hockey. I definitely did that once. Go ahead, continue.
On a breakaway, and the puck is in the neutral zone or the puck carrier's attacking zone, and no goal is scored on the play.
So
that's not what happened.
That's what about not even related. That's if someone throws a stick on the ice.
There's got to be another rule. Instances. Yep.
Yeah.
No, look up for when someone's on a breakaway and they're fouled
and they get tripped.
What's the rule?
Yeah, something like that.
So while he's looking that up, yeah, I mean, I was kind of borderline on that one. I was, it was close. It was close, but
as soon as he got taken out, I knew he was going to call it. But
I always forget the rule too. If you get a shot off, sometimes it's a penalty shot, sometimes it's not. It's depends on the shot or something. There's a specific nuance to the rule, the quality of the shot, or if it affected your shot, you still get a penalty shot.
I mean, the referee immediately pointed at center ice. He didn't.
Or it takes away a scoring chance. I'm telling you, if it wasn't Hughes, they wouldn't have called it.
Right. No, it's possible.
Which I mean, if they scored, I probably would have different feelings about it. But I mean, at the time, I was like, whatever. It is what it is. You can't be mad. They're gonna give it to Hughes. You
The
know,
way
like
he skates, the way that kid skates, he goes left and right so fast, like on a forecheck.
He's good, man.
He is a good player. But what he does a lot, I notice, is he gets lost and then he just finds the open ice and they find him.
That's what the
It's
great
like,
ones do.
yeah, he just like loops around. He'll go outside the zone and then come back in all of a sudden into the high slot between the D, and it's like bang, he's in already. It's you have to be aware of where he is.
Yeah, it must have been cool to watch live because you can see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well,
Speaking
especially
of
from
which,
up where we are.
Speaking of which, you were up live. So the Rangers are down 2-0, and Chris Kreider comes in with that beautiful goal at the end of the first period. He's now up to 14 goals on the year, which is about what we predicted before the season. It's almost a 40-goal pace, right? A little bit of a regression, but still a great season if he can pull that off. And he seems to have a little bit more emotion back in his game. What did that do to the Garden, though? Because we've been talking about that, right? I mean,
Garden was very dead.
Why? Even
I
after
don't
that goal?
know. No, I mean they cheered after the goal, but there's nothing going on. It's weird. There's nothing going on. Me and Aaron are sitting there, and it's like quiet. Like you could hear people talking down below. Like it's weird.
Do you think it's because the Rangers are like an attraction? Again, so there's a lot of corporate people taking their clients out and things like that, or what
I
do you
mean,
think?
maybe it was because there were more Devils fans there than usual. More opposing teams fans.
Can't let
I don't
that
know.
happen.
No,
Rangers
our
should not
Garden
have that,
Adventures pot or segment.
I
Yeah.
suppose. And also,
I told that EA the PA to join us.
I saw a little highlight of um. Okay, so we'll wait for you to PA. I didn't know she was going to join us. You tell me these things so I know, so I don't screw up. All right.
Oh, I didn't know we were just going to jump into the segment.
It just came up. It came up a natural transition in the conversation. So
no, I mean, Kreider got pumped. The crowd did go a little crazy, but then, it's silent again. Then when the Devils scored the third, it was like dead.
All right, let's wait for EA the PA. She's going to hop on and we'll talk about it. So Artemi Panarin.
Go get her, produces.
Artemi Panarin, for all the crap we give him, the guy, like literally, I said this last episode, he just farts out points, dude. Like I've never seen a player look or not. He looks good. Don't get me wrong, but like he makes so many mistakes out there that frustrate you, but just continuously fart out these points. Like dude has a 6-game assist streak. He has the most assists by a left wing in their first 8 seasons of his career, past Luc Robitaille. He's got 10 assists in that 6-game assist streak. Only 4 of those on the power play, meaning 6 at even strength, which is a good sign. He's +3 during that streak, coach, after being -9 going into it. I know you love plus minus. I mean, his play has been noticeably better since that Trouba interview, I think. And he, and I sent you guys a link to that back check that he, everyone joked about, like, ooh, Panarin back checked one time, and it's like all over Twitter. But he actually gave credit to Trouba for the team's turnaround, and he said that Trouba's passionate response to the recent slump made his teammates want to fight for each other and for your partner. So for all the joking that Panarin did, I think it was a good thing and a leaderish type thing for him to come out publicly and validate what Trouba did, right? Because it kind of gives some credibility to him as captain if Panarin comes out there and says that mattered to us, So overall, I feel better about his game, Coach. You saw him live. I'm just curious. Did you still see those turnovers live? I didn't really notice too many last game.
I was almost in shock that he was dumping the puck in a few times.
And forechecking.
Very minimal cross-ice passes in the neutral zone. And if you do that against the Devils, that game's going to be over quick.
Yeah.
So he bought into something. I don't know what. Hopefully it was Trouba's words in the locker room in the closed-door meeting. So we'll see how it goes if it lasts.
Yeah. Little Ed, I mean, with Panarin, again, forget the points because he farts them out even when he plays bad. It's still impressive. We talk about it, but just overall, turn around in his game, coinciding with a 4-game win streak, coinciding with Trouba's speech, acknowledging Trouba's speech. I mean, how do you feel about that as a fan?
I mean, you gotta love to see it. He's definitely turned his game around a little bit. He's making smarter plays. He's hustling. I mean, especially the play in overtime last night. He hustled for that puck after Miller gave him that nice little area pass. He still hustled after it, even though the defenseman got it, and still was able to make the play. So I think he's making small plays like that. Like Coach had said, he's making the smart plays and dumping it in, forechecking. And he's got to be that complete player, man. If he's farting out points and also playing like that, he's going to be a next level superstar. He's already a superstar as it is, because guys that don't watch the games are looking at his points and like, yeah, oh my God, he's top 10 in the league in points. He's obviously playing phenomenal. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I listen to the NHL Network radio all day long, and no one really talks about Panarin like we talk about him, because no one watches him. They just see the points and see the highlights and all the good plays he makes. So if he could take it to the next level and play dynamically and back check and forecheck, I mean, come on, it's gonna be lights out.
Yeah, and then what about the comments about Trouba? I mean, do you think that I thought that was important? It validates Trouba's, captaincy. He's a new captain, right? I mean, and here's your star player saying we took a cue from him. That to me is important.
Yeah, Mikey actually sent me something on Instagram, and when Zibanejad got the Broadway hat one game, you saw Panarin like joking around in the background, and it reminded me of like one of the best players I've played with, and he was always a clown in the locker room, but like he knew when to take it seriously. And honestly, me and Mike didn't think Panarin had it in him, and it seems like he might, and that's what has to happen. Like I said, like he has to turn that corner, otherwise the Rangers are going nowhere. They have to count on their best player to be their best player and not slack off at times and make bonehead plays.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a while now.
Yeah, and a few other quotes about that Trouba thing from his teammates. Ryan Lindgren, it was definitely a message we needed. Panarin also said, that's how it should be if you lose. It was really the important things that he said and did for the team. Bad translation there, but Keandre Miller, he has a warrior attitude and no quit attitude, and that can leak down to us. We see that, and it's inspiring. So the teammates publicly, at least, buying into Trouba. It's good to see. So, all right. So EAthePA is here.
Here she is.
What's up?
Making her YouTube debut.
So,
Hi.
so I tried to troll Coach Ed so EAthePA, Erin texts me, says, I'm at the game with my dad. And I said, ask him if Kravtsov was playing. I said, don't tell him I said it. Just ask him if Kravtsov is playing. And then if he asks why, say that he's Mike's new favorite player. And you just heard his name. So she's like, I'm not falling for this. And I was like, no, I'm trolling Coach. I'm not trolling you. So she
not only didn't he play, he didn't even warm up and get scratched. They didn't even want him to warm up.
So
there was
Coach,
no question.
Coach apparently didn't fall for it, because all she said was he said he doesn't see him and didn't question it. So you actually answered that question and didn't think it came from me.
No, yeah.
Erin asked you, is Kravtsov playing?
I was watching. Yeah, we were watching the warm up, and she said, "Is Kravtsov playing?" And I was looking. I said, "No, I don't see him. He's not playing."
He kind of looked at me like side eye, like, how does she know this person?
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be something there. Anyway, so you guys went to the game. You went for warm-ups. How was the warm-up, Erin?
It was great.
Yeah.
The best part of the night, besides them winning in overtime, was I found $20 on the floor, and I got Dotson for my dad through security. So those were the highlights.
Dots.
Mason Dots.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think you could bring food in, but I was like, let me just try.
The jumbo box.
Oh, Dots are so good. They
finish them?
stick to my teeth so bad, though. They're really
Yeah,
bad
after
for
we
teeth.
had the vegan burgers, he's like, I don't
No,
know.
Jess, that's a surprise. The surprise is going to be the
It's
food
no longer
review.
a surprise. She just
No,
ruined
we're
it.
good. We got to plug it. We got to
We
plug
already
it.
saw a clip. Couldn't hear it. But we saw a clip of the food review on the Instagram. There was a song over it, so I couldn't hear what you were saying. I did not know that it was a vegan burger, but I'm very curious what you thought about a vegan burger.
It said simply vegan on the reel.
I mean, you think it was quick. It was fast. Instagram, 20 seconds and you're out.
Okay, I guys cut this part out.
I got the YouTube queued up. I'm ready to post it. So by the time you guys listen to this episode, you'll have the second edition of Coach Ed's food review
I can't wait.
for the impossible vegan burger.
Double vegan burger.
Double vegan burger.
Unreal.
Yeah, so he was saying, like, I don't know if I'm full from that because he's like, usually I'd be looking for a snack at this time. It was like going into the third period. It's like, or it could just be all the dots I just ate.
It's hilarious.
I was like, vegan food could be filling.
So what was your impression of the Garden overall? Was it underwhelming, the fan atmosphere?
Other than when they were scoring goals.
Yeah, I just feel like it usually is. I don't know. I think everyone expects a lot because you're like paying so much for the tickets that you're kind of just expecting a lot from the team. And if it's even a little underwhelming, their performance, I feel like everyone's kind of down. I don't know. Plus, everyone's coming from work and stuff. I feel like that's a factor. Like getting there is stressful and all that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like if there was more of a tailgating atmosphere or something like that, it would be a different story. But I think the Garden itself just have to do something different.
Yeah, but come playoff time, it's completely different. And I get it, playoffs are different, but like we're not having this conversation during the playoffs.
Yeah, but if you go to places like Minnesota, even like Columbus, you see on TV, like these places are going nuts the entire time.
And it's a Monday night, like I don't know.
There's also nothing to do in Columbus other than the Blue Jackets. So,
yeah, that's true too. I mean, you look at that. New York's got 6 sports teams going on at once.
Yeah, there's a lot of Rangers fans who would go crazy who don't go to the games because there's other things going on that they can do and they can watch the game while doing it.
It definitely has something to do with the price of the tickets as well. I mean, the cheapest ticket in the Garden's like what, $150. A casual fan can't necessarily afford that, plus beers, plus train ticket.
Is it $150 for the cheapest ticket?
I would say so, yeah, without a doubt.
Insane. That's insane.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah.
They got to pay Panarin somehow.
I mean, our season tickets are, I think, like we pay a little bit more for certain games, a little bit less, but they're averaging like 150, and we're up on the bridge.
Yeah, it's crazy. Get Panthers tickets for like $20.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, like, so think about it. You go pregame for a little bit. You get a $20 game to the Panthers, and you're going a little bit crazier in the stands, a little bit more rowdy. You're having a better time. Like Aaron said, guys are coming from work. They're still wearing suits. Half of them are still stressed out from like being a doctor all day or something. It's just like I'm serious. It's a different atmosphere. You see guys dressed up at the Garden all the time. They come by themselves half the time. These guys are sitting there by themselves. Like how could you get excited like for a game like by yourself? Like I don't know.
I don't know. I used to like going to Mets games by myself though. Once in a while.
That's different. It's baseball. You sit there and you keep score, you relax. Like hockey, you're supposed to be up and down and cheering. And
you'd always see like these weird, I don't know who our fans are, but you'd see these guys sitting there with like headphones on, listening to the radio and like scoring the Mets game or whatever at the game. You don't see that at hockey games. So what do you do by yourself at a hockey game? I mean, you go and watch the game, but if you're going to watch it yourself, you just watch it on TV. I mean,
yeah. Well, the one guy last year, I remember had like a routine. He I had like ate the same thing every. Remember that bald guy that's that like
yeah.
He had like the same routine. He would leave at the same time, go get food, come back with a beer with food, and like he would just have like to the T and like
by himself drinking beer at the hockey game.
Drinking double vegan burgers.
Yeah. So whatever, man. It's tough. It's a different world.
The only thing I'll sneak in a little preview of the review is I hope that my cardiologist never says that I can't eat meat anymore.
Well, okay. Well, I'm
Garden was
assuming.
sold out though, which is weird.
What was
Well,
sold
It
out?
was
the
sold out,
Devils-
you said?
I mean, it's
Yeah, it
always
was sold out
out.
last night, but there
Yeah.
were so many empty seats. We were like, that's weird. And like, who would pay for their seats and not go?
Plenty of people.
It was crazy.
I went
Yeah.
to a stand-up comedy show. Tickets were like over $100. There's like 4 empty. I'm in the front, maybe 10 rows back. There's like 4 empty seats next to me. People show up 30 minutes into the show, stayed for about 15 minutes and left. And I was like, what the hell did you even come for? Like,
Yeah, what's the point?
and they like laughed once, I'm like, this is crazy. So yeah, people will buy tickets and not.
Oh
use
wait,
them.
remember those people that showed up in like the end of the second period? Or like it was early third period actually, I think. It was like these two fans that like they weren't Ranger fans. I don't even think they were like casual hockey fans. They were literally just coming to do something. And they showed up at like the beginning of the third period. I don't know if they were like sitting somewhere else for the start or like drinking at one of the clubs or something. I have no idea, but like they just showed up randomly. Didn't see them the entire game. So that was a bizarre situation. I think it has a lot to do with the price. I think that if they lowered the prices, which they're never going to do, I think you would get a lot rowdier and like younger fans. And
oh, Ed, we didn't introduce the segment. We just talked about it. It's my fault. Introduce it.
This is our new segment, the Garden Adventures. So whenever we go to the game, we're gonna rate the atmosphere. Hopefully, get a food review.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, and I'll chime in when I go to games outside the Garden. I do plan to go to the Garden at some point this year. I need to.
We need someone to give us the exit strategy from the bridge. That's what we need.
What do you mean?
To get out of there. It's got to be a quick exit somewhere. Me and Aaron are walking through the halls, like trying to get out, and there's all these random doors, like people are opening and going out. We're like, where does that go? There's like all kinds of little secret stuff going on.
It's like the
Yeah,
Chronicles of
like
Narnia
behind this door, and like it's like a dragon behind the door.
It's like
like the hole in 300. You just go out.
So Aaron, you wore a jersey to the game?
No, I wore like my Rangers sweatshirt.
Coach, did you wear a Rangers dry fit tucked into jeans?
You got it.
No jerseys, huh?
With the quarters.
I'm waiting for my Schneids.
But I wore my Lundqvist Sweden hat, which was cool. No one complimented it, sadly. People used to when he played.
But people looked at it. I noticed. I saw a couple of people looking at it.
Looking at the hat or her?
Probably both.
Dude, you timed that right when I was taking a sip. Hilarious.
One thing that was great about the game, I thought it was Lindgren through the hip check, and it was Schneider. I jumped out of my seat. Yeah. I'm like, Lindy, and I saw when he turned around, I saw it was Schneider. We
call that pulling a Sam.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Well, that's what it is.
You pulled a Sam. No, from that view, it's probably harder to tell. But
so what else happened, Aaron? Anything good? Funny? Exciting?
Oh, we had like a little game of musical chairs going.
I couldn't find the seats.
I'm like, Dad, how many games have you been to? Why can't he's like, what section are we? I'm like, I don't know.
So we're actually for the first
the wrong section. I'm like, oh my God. And then we like literally sat in the wrong seats. That's how I got that good video though of the goal.
Oh yeah, I noticed that you guys were in the first row for that video. We're in 322, row 2.
We were in row 1 for the first period, and it's a lot better view from row 1. Because there's nothing there's like nothing in front of you.
Oh my God.
What? You're looking through the glass and it's right there.
You're talking about row 2 and row 1.
Of the row 20 and row 1. Of the bridge, not down low.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because if you're on the row 1 of the bridge, you're like on the glass. And then if you're on row 2, you're obviously behind that row. So it's kind of, you see the people in front of you and it's a little annoying. And like the net that gets the pucks is in the view too. I feel like when you're in row 1, I didn't see the net I didn't notice it as much.
Interesting.
Well, next year I want to get a bar stool seat. So
yeah, we tried to sit in those seats first and then they came like instantly, the people, and we're like, oh.
You gotta bring like a socket
stuff.
wrench in. Quick, take it out. Take it home.
Well, the bar stools have like a little like table in front of you, so you get place for your beer, for food, whatever.
So
A
real
lot more
interesting,
space too.
real
Yeah.
interesting little fact that happened last night. So we're in those two seats, and then we go into our seats in the second period in between. And I'm looking at the ticket. I'm going, this is definitely it. And I asked the girl sitting there, this is 322 row 2. She goes, yeah. I go, well, someone's sitting here? She goes, yeah, there was a soda. She goes, there were 4 people sitting here. I go, well, these are our seats, so we sit there. They never came back, so we had to throw people out of our seat. Well, we didn't throw them out, but they obviously were squatting. Then this woman comes with her 8 or 10-year-old son and goes, is anybody sitting here? She goes, we were sitting down lower, but we wanted to come up here. I'm like, that's the first time anybody ever changed their seats to sit up higher.
Yeah.
But they were like underneath the blue seat area, and they had like the TV screens when you get the visual. You don't get the vision of the whole ice.
Maybe they wanted an overhead view. Yeah, that is a little weird. So in some of the sections in row 1, because you're talking about row 1, there's like way less space for your knees when you're sitting, and there's really no souvenir space. So if you buy anything, like you can't put your stuff anywhere really. It was like that.
You got to buy an extra seat when you go to the game.
No, I sat in row 1 of a section for the playoff game last year when I went to the Rangers Lightning game at the Garden, and it was horrible. I almost wanted to sit in row 2 because they had so much knee room. I felt like I was like up against this thing.
Yeah, you got the wall, yeah.
And there was like a handicapped section right in front of me with like a big walkway. So it was like a wall that dropped down, but there was really no space in front of the seat. Was it like that in the bridge or no?
And it's like, yo, Corso, quick, break my leg so I can sit in the handicap.
No, imagine me being uncomfortable. Imagine him.
Yeah.
Imagine him. He's sitting there like.
Well, Erin said that. Erin had her winter coat. We had our food. You couldn't even move.
Yeah, it's a little tough up there.
You're like sitting there. You're trying to eat. Your elbows are in, and you got to get your drink. And
yeah, I had my bag too with my computer in it from school, and I was just like, "This is a real nightmare."
And you're gonna spill a beer on your laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't eat
or on
seats.
someone, and like I just can't. It's very stressful. So then you eat so fast because you're like, I just don't want this food to be here anymore.
Yeah, I just need to get through this.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you do what you did. You go in between periods and eat out in the hallway or something.
Yeah, I like eating at the tables up there. That's why we need the barstool seat next year for sure.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, it sounds like it was a good time. I'm sure there's more funny things you can think of, but you can't think of right now, or can you?
We'll come up with something.
Any coach Ed? Can you troll him a little bit?
I heard your dad was like 10 for 10 on the trivia or something like that.
Oh yeah, my dad answered all the right questions. There was like some random guy answering questions for money, and he won $1,000, and my dad knew every single question. I was like, "What the hell? You should be up there."
They don't pick anybody.
I don't have a choice to go up there.
Too bad he's not that good on this podcast on the trivia. It's unfortunate.
I don't know what the questions were. I can't remember.
The trivia at the game is so easy.
I know the answer.
Who has the most goals in Rangers history?
No, it's not even that. It's like
it was all current questions. Like they had a question. One answer was Schneider. What defenseman scored 4 goals in the last?
Yeah. It's like current event questions.
It was all current things. What U.S. born Ranger was leading the team in goals this year? It was Chris Kreider. It was all like simple kind of deduction questions.
So you do remember the question?
Well, I don't remember all 4 of them, but they were fairly.
Panarin was one of the answers.
So it was 10.
It was 4.
No, it
questions.
was like.
He's up there like Roger Bear,
Brian Leach, Roger Bear, Mark Messier.
So yeah, we'll get this in the banter.
And I ran into someone from PA school, which is so weird. Like when you run into someone there, it's like, how did this happen? That's 1 in 80,000 people or something.
18,000.
I thought it was 80.
Oh my god,
that's a lot.
But
at a football game, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, like I hate that. It's like how many things had to happen for us to run into each other right now.
Yeah, she was up by you guys?
Well, but yeah. on the Chase Bridge. And for the longest, I was like, I remember his first name. I can't remember. And I don't think he remembered my name because he introduced me to his girlfriend. And he was like, oh, this is my girlfriend, so-and-so. And I was just like, hey. And I didn't say my name. I was like, I'm leaving this out.
Yeah, leaving this up for grabs.
But
did you give out any
other
good
than
stickers? Any listeners? I don't know if I got any followers last night.
no. We dropped the ball on that. I did the reel, but I dropped the sticker ball.
We definitely know Coach Ed didn't.
Unbelievable.
Wait, Vegan Beyond didn't follow you?
No.
Any
Simply
Jackie Redmond
vegan.
sightings or no?
Simply
She wasn't there.
Vegan.
No, Toronto's Thursday. She'll probably be there for that game. Don't we have the Toronto game?
This
Mikey
guy does.
No, I said I wanted the Toronto game in the beginning of the season. What do you mean this guy does?
I think we took the
Oh my
Devils
God, he's
game
upset.
instead.
Oh man, that's bullshit.
What a bad choice. Mistakes were made.
I do like the Chase Bridge though overall, and I like that the bathrooms are close and it's more of like a private bathroom. It's not like a huge one where everyone's using it. It's like a few stalls. That was nice. So there wasn't a long line.
That's good.
Some benefits.
It's a lot easier to get beverages up there.
Oh yeah.
But all the good
It's more
food's down.
private, I felt like.
Yeah.
Which we also thought maybe that's why it didn't seem as loud. Like besides the fact that people weren't being that loud, you kind of feel like with the glass you're in like a cave. I don't know if you guys feel like that.
Could be a good point. I'm sure you don't hear the rest of the crowd as much as you would not being in there. I can see that.
You're far away
Right.
from everybody too.
You think it affects the sound of the crowd from where you are?
Not to the point where like, oh my God, the crowd's so much louder, but I can see it making a difference.
Interesting. Well, thanks for joining us, EA the PA. We got to have you back on soon, but the Rangers.
Oh wait, Jess, tell him what you said when Igor made that save.
Oh, when he pulled his groin, well, we thought he did.
Yeah. Aaron, the first thing Aaron said is he definitely pulled his groin on that play when he made that save and he like shot his leg out to the right.
The puck like deflected back.
It was like the puck was like
something.
crawling and he just like kicked it out. But you said at the same time, Dad, we both looked at each other like, oh,
that's
he seemed fine. He got up a little slow, but I guess he was fine.
They said it on the broadcast too. They're like, I don't know, he didn't pull his groin or something like that. So
great. I'm turning into Sam Rosen.
It seems that way.
Yeah, it was exciting though. Definitely an exciting game. When the first two goals happened, I was like, oh no. I'm the bad luck charm, but then they really pulled it out.
When they got those 2 goals in 7 seconds, the Garden did go pretty crazy at that point. It was good.
Yeah, there's no doubt that they go nuts when they score. But other than that, it's pretty dead. And like, I don't know. Like I said last episode, those cheesy things like in between whistles that they do, they just don't work. The crowd doesn't get into it at all.
I mean, Schneider throws that hip check. I like jumped out of my seat. No one else like even acknowledged it.
Yeah.
They were definitely the loudest one there.
That normally would get like the crowd going, like a big hit.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nada.
And we made our train at the end of the night, which was important. And it's sad that we're like so stressed about that. But
you made it even with overtime?
Yeah, the game went fast, I felt like.
Wow. Isn't it usually early at we went, it was 9:56. I thought it was like 9:40 something.
The train's always at 9:56. I don't know what it was. Aaron said the same thing last night. I was like, I don't know. I don't understand how the game's almost over. It was like 9:20.
Usually we're in crunch time. Yeah, usually we're in crunch time.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we know when meeting trying to catch the train, usually I got to go to the bathroom and I miss Joe Micheletti heading home. So anyway, all right. Thanks to you, PA, for joining us.
If we missed the train, we were calling you to pick us up in Baldwin because we weren't waiting an hour.
Maybe.
He was asleep.
Mike was passed out right away after that game for sure. All right. Thanks to EAthePA for joining us. Hate to kick you out.
And
love you guys. Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you. So we got let's move into the broadcast banter.
It's off
So, Coach, you were at the last game. I'll save you from having to watch it and give me banter from that game. But anybody got any other banter from the other games they want to offer? There's plenty to go around.
I had one on Panarin's shootout move against the Avalanche. Head fake, stick fake, skates all over the place.
Yeah.
Dude, that move was ridiculous, and like his left
before
or
he's
his right
40?
his left skates just like go
Yeah.
like back and forth like 100 times. Oh my god!
Wait, he said that while he was doing the move, or after?
No. During the replays.
Oh,
yeah, it was just funny. Head fakes, skate fakes, skates all over the place. He was like stumbling over his words.
During the Avalanche game, he said Rangers moves this week. They waived Ryan Callahan.
Oh yeah, I heard that one. Someone
that was
texted
so funny.
me that.
He's like, I got Callahan on my mind.
Oh, Bear texted me that.
And and Micheletti goes like, I'm gonna say it was like 10 seconds later. You obviously mean Ryan Carpenter, right? He goes, yes, Ryan Carpenter.
Yeah, but he also after that he like lost. He lost it a little bit. Like he was kind of like wasn't announcing the game. He was just like in a fog. I felt bad for him. That was a bad one. That was definitely a bad one. So in the
he threw himself off a little bit.
Yeah, he threw himself off. Right, that's what I'm looking for. So in the Vegas game, he says Nicholas Waugh, and then he apologizes to Nicholas Waugh for mispronouncing his name, Nicholas Roy, as if Nicholas Waugh is going to hear this and accept Sam's apology. Apologizes to him for mispronouncing his name. So that was, and went on for about 2 minutes about it. And then he goes, and we just watched Matt Roy play for whoever, and I got it confused, and I said Nicholas Roy, and it's Nicholas Waugh, and then Joe's like, and it's Matt Roy and Nicholas Waugh. You have to remember who's who. And like he was giving him a hard time about it. I don't know why he did that. But then the best one from these games, Barclay Goodrow and Keegan Colasar fight right after coming out of the penalty box. Rangers have the puck in the offensive zone. Poorly timed fight maybe, but they both get penalties. They get out of the box and fight immediately. And Sam says, those 2 minutes weren't a cooling off period. They were steaming. It's like, what?
He said something last night. What did he say? So.
It was so funny.
He was talking about the penalty kill, Sam. And he was saying how the Rangers are, doing real good on the penalty kill on road games. But when it comes to like home games, so he's like, they're so,
He didn't have the stat, huh?
Instead of saying like mediocre, average, decent, like there's so many different words he could have used, but used the word so. There was
I feel like he says that not a lot, but I can picture him saying that. Joe had a good one yesterday after Kako scored the goal. I got drafted the same year as you. What about me? Like I love his little commentary. Like, oh my god.
Oh, like Kako talking to Hughes?
Yeah. I got drafted the same year as you. What about me? It's like Kako. Like,
it was pretty sweet. That goal was pretty sweet. Not gonna lie, and that's Selly.
Definitely an important goal. Yeah,
and that Selly was awesome.
A little much.
They all jumped on each other.
The kid line.
Yeah, it was the kid adorable. Line. The 4-year pros kid line.
They're of age, Ed.
No, Heedle's coming of age, he said. Yeah, I think that's enough. That's all I really got from the games. You guys took the Avalanche one, the Callahan Carpenter one was pretty noticeable. But yeah, there's always a lot of banter. But all right. Let's move into our stars of the week. So offensive player of the week. Go to Little Ed. He's always prepared. Never go first to him on the offensive player of the week. So I'll let you lead off.
I'm gonna go with we've been really hard on him. I'm gonna have to go with Panarin. He played well these 4-game stretch. Obviously, he was on the board every game. I mean, there's no surprise there, but he actually played some hockey this stretch, so gotta give him some credit.
All right, Panarin, Breadman for Little Ed.
What do you have? 4
Mike?
assists, 5 assists in this stretch? 5 assists in
Yeah,
3
5.
games.
Yeah,
Mike,
I'm gonna
Martin
go
had
with
assists.
Mika. I'm giving it to Mika this week. 10 power play goals, like you mentioned. I think this last stretch he had 2 goals, 2 assists. I know 1 point less than Panarin, but I feel like the goals are a little more important come this time of the year. So I'm giving it to Mika.
can't disagree with that. I went with Panarin only because the game-winning assist against New Jersey, he creates the play. The game-tying goal against Colorado, he sets up Schneider, primary assist, big-time assist there. And he had 2 other primary assists on Zibanejad's power play goals against Vegas. So his assists were noticeable. It wasn't just like the typical Panarin to Fox to Zibanejad assist or whatever. They were creative plays. So I went with Panarin. Coach, who'd you take?
I'm going to agree with you on that because he was so good in the primary situations, and seeing him live, I thought he turned his game around. So, like I said before, I'm hoping he stays on this kind of a pace.
See, fans, when he's not insulting me or my knowledge of the sport, we can agree once in a while. All right, defensive player of the week. We'll go to Little Ed again because he's our. Well, you're our defensive coach, so I always go to you first on defensive player of the week.
I'm gonna go with Keandre on this one. I think he was on a little bit of a slide, so I think he stepped up these games. He was kind of involved in a lot of plays, played a little tougher. So, well
Coach,
I'm going with Schneid's, my boy.
Me too.
He's on the second pair, and I'm watching him play. I love watching him in person.
He's just getting better and better. I thought he, might have a little bit of a slump this year. It's pretty common for defensemen in their second years to slump, but he just hasn't. He takes his lumps.
If
takes
you
his
remember,
lumps and gets better.
If you remember, he made that one glaring mistake early in the season we talked about. I haven't noticed that. Even on the Devils' goal, it was Keandre that was way out of position. I think it was the Devils' second goal, and I do agree that Keandre is playing pretty good, but he's still a little. He makes some bad decisions in the defensive zone. Maybe it's because he was with Trouba too, so I don't know.
He's getting there. He's getting back to form.
No, he's still moving, but I'm saying Schneider had his man on that. I thought Igor should have saved that. That was Hughes' goal. He should have, again, Schneider covers the passing lane and Igor didn't challenge him. I thought he could have had both of those goals. It was a beautiful shot by Hughes, but the backhand up top. But anyway, I'm giving it to Schneider. I think, the hip check sells me on. He's got a couple of goals in these games. Yep. Obviously, the big one against Colorado.
Yeah, I think Miller and Schneider are the only 2 options right now. Fox and Lindgren are great, but they stood out to me. So I can see you going with Miller a little bit, but I went with Schneid's too. Mike, you went with Schneider?
I think. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I went with Schneider too. Go ahead, Coach.
I think Lindgren's had a bad game last night for the most part. It wasn't glaring, but he was watching him. He shaved his beard. That must have did it.
Yeah, he did look weird.
He looked weird as hell without the beard.
I don't like that. Why do you do that?
I don't know.
He had a date or something the night before.
I just downloaded the new NHL. They put it up on the Xbox for 60% off. So I jumped on that, and they have Lindgren with like the full beard.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in the game. I was like, what the hell? Now they got to change it.
Yeah. He was
I started the season with the Rangers.
He was flopping around a little bit.
Yeah.
But he was involved.
I started the season with the Rangers. I'm 1-1. Tampa smoked me the first game.
What, you got NHL 23?
Yeah.
I saw it on sale for $40. I almost went with it.
It was $23.99 online yesterday or the day before, 60% off. So I had to do it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get it. I'll never play it, but I gotta at least get it.
We should do it. We should have like a Rangers Ed online tournament or something.
Can we play with PS4 to Xbox though?
You can. They added that this year.
Okay, good. So I can play against you. So maybe I will get it. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move to the highlight play of the week. I'll start. I'm going with the Kakko game time goal. The chip in by Miller, the pass by Hedel, and the shot by Kakko to finish there to tie it 7 seconds after. Just a lot of energy. I was feeling really negative about the situation, and it was just a really positive moment. So for me, that was the highlight play during those games. Mike, how about you?
I'm gonna go with Kreider's goal against the Devils last night. The first goal.
That was a
I feel like
beautiful goal.
that gave life. If that goal doesn't go in, then who knows how that game would have turned out. So, yeah, I'm giving it to Kreider's goal against the Devils.
You sound like Gallant now. That's what he said in the press conference. Coach, what's your highlight?
I'm agreeing with you on the second one of the night. I'm going with that goal. It was just, I that was another play. I jumped out of my seat. I saw the pass go across, and I was up in the air already. And Kakko slammed it home.
Surprised he didn't hit the post, right?
That's what I was surprised at. I mean, that was Hedel made that pass or Keandre made. I thought it was Keandre.
It was Keandre to Hedel to Kakko.
It was
so Hedel had a primary assist on the game.
You sure you don't want to change your mind?
Yeah. Well, I didn't give it to Hedel. It was still a great play.
You gave it to what? Just the whole play or to Kakko?
The play. It's a highlight play.
Right. Agreed. All right, little Ed, you're gonna round us off here. What's your highlight?
I went with Kakko as well. I mean, all the same reasons you guys just said. It was just an important goal. I mean, I know I just did the banter, but I think it was important for Kakko to score in that game also against Hughes.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Kakko, we need him to put up points, so it's always good when he does.
Well, it's just also like people would have been talking like, oh, Hughes did this, Hughes did that. It was just nice that Kakko got a goal also. I mean, I know it wasn't as flashy as Hughes' goal. He didn't get as much time as Hughes.
It was a beautiful shot, man.
Well, I'm saying Hughes went almost end to end and went backhand top over Shesterkin's glove. I mean,
right. Okay. I understand what you mean. No, it was definitely a highlight reel goal though, for sure.
No, without a doubt, it was a beautiful play.
You mean like individual skill set, like
correct
display, right?
Yeah.
If you saw that goal live, not to beleaguer the point that I was there, but you just saw it go down the ice, and it was like bang, bang, bang. You just jumped out of the seat. It was at the other end, so you saw the whole thing going.
7 seconds after the second goal.
So, they didn't even announce Trocheck's goal yet.
Yeah, I love when that happens. And then they're announcing like 2 goals ago, and the PA announcers behind. All right, key contributor award. Let's lead off with Coach Ed. Key contributor award to these 3 games.
I'm going with Johnny Brodzinski.
It's a great pick.
Fourth line. That fourth line, I watched most of the Colorado game. The puck's in their zone. A lot of the puck possession in the offensive zone, wearing down the other team, and that leads to situations that people don't realize. They're doing a really good job. I watched him again live, and he's in the right position in the high slot, reading the play, making the hit on the wall, finishing the check. I think he's doing a good job.
I love the way he plays. I heard you, cousin Ed, making fun of me before I hopped on last week. But yeah, Johnny Brodzinski's my boy. But I did not pick him.
What did I say? I don't remember.
You said something about, I'm sure little Ed will have something to say. Johnny Brodzinski's his boy or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you do like Johnny Brodzinski. I like him too for his salary.
I think he's a great
his role. Yeah,
for a 4th line player, penalty killer. He's a perfect.
He's got some speed. Player. He's got some speed. His whole family comes from a family of shooters. And
he really does have a good shot. He's got a quick.
He likes to get his nose dirty.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, I do like him.
He's not afraid to shoot the puck just from like random spots. He gets quick shots on net that cause like rebounds and like and scurries in front, whatever you want to call it.
Look, he obviously was playing well in the Wolfpack for them to make that change and waive Carpenter and make the move.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it is they needed a little more speed on that 4th line, and Carpenter is slow. It's the same reason
they make more money too, right?
No, I think they make the same.
Actually, I think over $1 million.
I think Broad might actually make like $10K more than Carpenter, if I'm not mistaken. But No, they both Carpenter makes 750 and Brodzinski makes 762, I think. So they're close, but
Gotcha.
But anyway, so I didn't go. Oh wait, you said you didn't go with Brodzinski. So who'd you take?
I went with Schneider. I mean, I couldn't decide between Miller and Schneider for defenseman or defense, so I gave Schneider the other one. But more so, I think, because Schneider's not just contributing defensively, I think he's contributing offensively too. So a more all-around award for Schneider, I think.
Yeah, I think he's a little more offensively minded than we expected. I like his game. Hopefully he keeps developing both sides.
That slap shot the other night was beautiful. The one-timer from Panarin against the Avalanche. Blew that one right by Georgie. It was nice.
Yeah, and he called for that too. That was a blast.
Ripped that. Put everything behind that.
Would have been a 1-0 loss to Georgiev.
That would suck.
I went with Trubes, not for his play, but for everything I said earlier about his comments and how he turned this around a little bit. I give him a lot of credit, I think, as a new captain. And he's a relatively young captain, right? He's in his mid-20s. He's got some guys with a little more pedigree than him in that locker room who could have taken a claim for that captaincy, and he wasn't afraid to call them out. He did it in a professional way and called them out without saying their names, and they responded well to it. So I credit him a lot for the way the team has changed. A lot of players I see different, not perfect, but I see a different energy level to their games. So I'm giving it to Trubel.
Well, you got to give him credit because a lot of people are questioning the pick of him being captain.
That's what I mean.
The way this season's been going, we talked about it a lot. And whenever you heard people talking, like friends of mine and stuff, they're like, is he really the cap? And he made the move and he made the right thing. He did the right thing so far. We'll see.
Well, it was ballsy is what I mean. Because what if he does that and Panarin's like, screw this guy, Then that creates an issue in the locker room. And now, some guys side with Panarin. It could have been very divisive for him to do what he did. But he handled it in a good way and clearly outside of the media did something else further that brought the team to a place where they look like they may be headed in a good direction. So, it was a ballsy thing. Mike, what about you?
I am giving the Jespi Award to Igor. 3 starts, 3 wins. I know he could have made a couple more saves, but he made a lot of key saves, a lot of big saves in pretty much every game. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the whole Vegas game, but I know in Colorado, he made a couple big saves. Last night, he made a couple big saves. So without Igor, who knows if we would have gone, 4 in a row right now. But
what about him mocking Georgiev with the blocker fist punch after the shootout win?
Best.
Yeah, that was good. And he threw his body last night too. I forget who came in on him, but
Hughes.
Yeah, it was Hughes. Yeah, right on the penalty shot. That's right.
This guy tweeted. He's like, no, it wasn't. I think it was on a different breakaway or whatever. He's like, the best hit the Rangers got on Hughes in the 2 games was by Shesterkin. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
He's tough to hit, but yeah, he laid into him. I always forget to pick Shesterkin for defensive player when he deserves it. It just slips my mind. I always think defenseman.
I don't think he deserves a defensive player, but I think he deserves some love, and I can see him. He contributed to these last 3 games that we're talking about, so I'm giving it to him.
I like the pick. Well deserved. All right, let's move into everyone's favorite segment, Coach Ed's Copyright Doghouse Award. And typically we start with Coach Ed, but I'm going to go back to Little Ed again because you missed last week. You missed last week, Ed, and everybody's been waiting to find out. So last week, I'm sure you listened to the episode, but last week there was some movement in everybody's doghouse, but you weren't here. So you didn't have any movement. So you have Trouba and Kravtsov in the doghouse. Kravtsov removed from Coach Ed's doghouse. He took him out last week. So Kravtsov, in nobody else's doghouse, but so you have Trouba and Kravtsov in. So I'm curious, is Trouba out?
Trouba's definitely out, without a doubt, because last week's episode was focused on him and turning things around and the speech and the interview and blah blah. Trouba's out without a doubt.
Is Kravtsov out?
I guess I'll take Krasov out. He played pretty well. I mean,
He played two games and got benched again for no reason. So
yeah, he might be in Gallant's doghouse, but I have no reason to put him in. Honestly, I think I'm gonna leave it empty. I think the team's playing some good hockey. I was trying really hard to think of a reason to put somebody in. I mean, maybe like you said, Lindgren had an off game last night, but I don't think that's a reason to put him in the doghouse.
Oh, definitely not.
So, yeah, I'm gonna leave it empty for now.
How about shouting out some love? How about
the fans?
How about shouting out some love to Trouba for going to arguably the third pairing
quietly
and just doing his work and just playing with Hayek and not saying a word, getting no power play time.
He is turning it. He's not playing great 100%, but he's battling an injury and he's quietly got demoted. And
he had a couple of nice block shots last night.
He does block a lot of shots too.
He had a couple of nice block shots. Oh, that was the other question. Who has 60 block shots and 81 hits? That was the other trivia that I answered.
Trouba?
Yeah.
Wow.
He blocked 2 point-blank shots like he was at the hash marks, and he made a couple of nice blocks. One was on the penalty kill, I believe, or that might have been Schneider. I don't remember. But
people forget when he was in Winnipeg, he was like a 50-point defenseman. Ran their power play. He's like a 5th or 6th overall pick. Maybe he was definitely top 10. So he's got a lot of offensive talent, but with the Rangers, he's kind of accepted a more, I don't want to say Dan Girardi role, because he's maybe a little better offensively than Girardi was, but he's kind of accepted that role with Fox and Miller and all these guys with all their talent. He's taken that role, Coach, like you're saying, very quietly and professionally, and yeah, he deserves.
He could be pouting that he's an offensive player. Why am I not getting it? But I think that's a great notch for his character.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to comment on that. I forgot to bring it up before, but as I was listening to you guys last episode without me, I was thinking that like Trouba kind of plays in a way that he's going to play the same way no matter what. He's not really going to adapt to the other partner.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that when like Miller was able to go play with Schneider, he kind of carried that pair and he was able to kind of like spread his wings a little bit more. You know what I mean? So like I feel like Trouba, like his defensive pair needs to kind of play to him, kind of like maybe taking himself out of the play a little bit to throw the big hit. So the other defenseman has to play to him. Like Trouba's not going to play to the other defenseman. So like he's always going to like control that pair. So I think it might be better that Miller's going out on his own and controlling his own pair.
Right. And let Hayek just follow Trouba.
Right.
Hayek's played pretty good too.
Or Hayek stay at home, whatever, like. So that was something I picked up on when I was listening to you guys talking. But
all right,
we can move on.
All right, so Coach Ed, last week you took Keandre and Kraftsov out and you put Panarin in. Is Panarin out?
Panarin's out.
And who's in?
Kraftsov's back in.
Okay.
All right, he was in for 2 games. How many points did he get?
He scored a goal.
All right. 1 goal.
In 2 games.
I don't know.
Got benched for no reason.
Know.
Into the doghouse.
Back in the doghouse.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm not taking the bait on that one. So last week, I left Gallant in, and I also put Panarin and Zibanejad in. So, so I'm taking Panarin and Zibanejad obviously out. I'm not putting anyone else in, and I'm leaving Gallant in. I'm just done with him. Mike, how about you?
I'm pretty sure I had Gallant in right last week.
Oh yeah, sorry. Gallant. Last week you took Miller out and put Gallant in.
Yeah, Gallant's out. My doghouse. Like I said, I see some of your points, but I can't fault the coach for doing what he has to do and the team being successful. I'm gonna leave it empty. I don't think anyone deserves to be in the doghouse.
It's always nice when it's empty. So it's Kravtsov and Gallant in our collective doghouses. That's it. That's Kravtsov's worst nightmare. Hopefully they're separate. Hopefully they're separate doghouses and they don't have to share space. But all right, cool. So that'll wrap up our stars of the week. And let's shift over. What are we doing now? The 150? Let's go to Mikey P for the Rangers Ed 150.
Mikey. Before we get into trivia, it's time to throw it over to Mikey P with your Rangers Ed 150, the fastest 150 seconds in the National Hockey Podcast League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rangers Ed 150. Shout out to Alexander Ovechkin, who scored his 800th goal against the Blackhawks Tuesday night and is now 1 goal away from passing Gordie Howe for most goals of all time. Around the league, out west in the Pacific Division, Vegas still sits in that number 1 spot atop the division, mainly due to extremely mediocre play across the board from every team in the Pacific. After Vegas' big win against Boston in Boston last week, they've gone 2-2, losing to the Rangers and Bruins and beating Philly in Winnipeg. Bad news for the Golden Knights, though, with Jack Eichel hitting long-term injured reserve with a lower body injury. Eichel will miss at least 7 days, so we'll see what happens after a week passes. LA has caught up to Seattle in points at that number 2 spot after Seattle dropped 3 of their last 4, but the Kraken have 4 games in hand over the Kings, so it shouldn't be a problem for them to retake that number 2 spot. Lots of talk surrounding the Canucks captain Bo Horvat, with Horvat reportedly rejecting the Canucks' most recent contract offer. Horvat is a pending RFA at the end of the season, so watch out for teams like Boston to be a major contender in the Horvat sweepstakes as the trade deadline approaches. In the Central Division, St. Louis Blues are once again trash. They're 1-2 since we last talked, 3-6-1 through their last 10, while Minnesota have crept up into 3rd place with 7-3-0 record through their last 10. Dallas is sitting in 1st place, 2 points clear of the Jets, but the Jets have 2 games in hand on the Stars, and despite dropping their last 2, they are 7-3-1 through their last 10. The Jets defense are a combined plus 20, and Josh Morrissey has put up an impressive 5 goals and 27 assists through 28 games this season, and this team is looking like they could be a tough out in the playoffs. The Colorado Avalanche, on the other hand, are not looking like the same team they were last season. They got Landeskog and McKinnon on long-term injured reserve for the foreseeable future, and this team is relying on a lot of unproven players to get the job done in the interim. The Avs were 2-1 last week, but it's very unclear if they're going to be able to hold the ship together without McKinnon and Landeskog in the lineup. Back east in the Atlantic Division, the Bruins still hold the number 1 spot, and they were 2-1 last week. The Leafs kept pace with Boston, posting a 3-0 record last week with wins over LA, Calgary, and Anaheim. And as we said last week, the Lightning also appear to have righted their strip. They got the wheels back on the bus with Anthony Cirelli back in the lineup. They also put up a perfect 3-0 record with wins over Nashville, Florida, and Seattle, and have moved up into 3rd place ahead of the Detroit Red Wings. Finally, in the Metro Division, the New Jersey Devils are still in that number 1 spot, but appear to finally have stumbled, dropping their last 3 to the Islanders, Rangers, and Stars. Outside of the Devils, the division as a whole has done a complete 180 since we last talked, with the Rangers, Capitals, and Penguins each putting up perfect 3-0 records last week. All 3 teams are now carrying win streaks, with the Pens at 6, the Caps at 5, and the Rangers at 4. Don't forget about the Canes, as they were also 2-0 last week and have held on to 2nd place in that division. Got some exciting hockey coming up this week, folks, so stay tuned for more updates next week. This has been your 150.
This guy, I see, sometimes I don't even see the video of his 150, but then I'll like upload something to the Google Drive and I'll see it like there as like a recent like addition to the Google Drive, and I just see his face like paused. It's like pausing like an awkward face, and I'm just like, then I start hearing his voice doing it and stuff.
Yeah, he's funny, man.
He's a
Like
funny
all
guy.
over the place.
He does a great job though. Does a great job.
Phenomenal job.
We're catching those Bruins, Mikey. We're catching those Bruins.
Now we are. He's embracing
4-game
the YouTube
win streak will do it.
He's embracing the YouTube. He's throwing up some decorations in the back. I told him he's got to get like a Canadian flag or something and throw it up there. But last week he had a swollen cheek because he had some dental work done. So I thought that was pretty funny. Looked like he got into a fight.
Oh my!
Where does he get dental work done up there? It's like he's in the middle
gotta
of
be,
Siberia.
There's
In
got to
the
be
ocean.
one dentist in like the whole island.
probably a veterinarian that does dental work on the side or something.
Take a
Exactly.
fishing line, tie it to your tooth.
Yeah, and slam the
throw
door.
Throw it out. All right, cool. So let's shift over. Let's do some trivia. I know Mike's come prepared with a tough question here, unlike at the Garden. Coach goes 10 for 10 at the Garden.
There was a little banter on the trivia in Colorado when Sam read the question. He goes, "Now that question makes more sense than the last night, Joe." He goes, "It's a little more reasonable."
Yeah, they always banter. They always banter about the trivia. It's so funny. All right, let's go.
You guys ready?
I'm ready.
It's a 1 point question.
Ooh.
All right. But I need all three names in order to get the point.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be in order. Who are the top three players that lead the team in hits this year?
Say it again.
Who are the top three players that lead the team, the New York Rangers, in hits this year?
You have to get all three?
Is that a trick question?
That is correct, Coach. And no, it's not a trick question. Why?
Is it top three current Rangers that lead the team in hits, or
did I not put a comma or somewhere in that question?
Just answer the question.
This is how I win. I ask questions about the question, you know.
I'll give you a bonus. I'll give you a bonus point if you do get them in order. But it doesn't have to be.
A bonus point. I'm ready.
Give me a second.
There we go.
I'm taking a stab at number 3. I'm not sure.
All right, so Little Ed's got Trouba, Blais, and Gaudreau.
But I got Gaudreau too.
Okay, I'll take it. Coach has got Trouba, Blais, and Lindy. And Cousins got Reeves, Trouba, Lafreniere. So
I'm gonna say Laffy.
Nobody gets a point because nobody got all nobody got all three.
Well, Reeves probably didn't play enough games. That was dumb. I shouldn't have picked him. But I thought that was going to be the trick.
Number 3 is actually, I'm a little shocked. So Trouba leads the team with 98. Sammy Blais in second with 93.
Oh, look at
I
Little
almost
Ed.
had it.
Look at Little Ed.
Trocheck, 77 at number 3.
Wow.
Is Gaudreau on the list? Was he 4 or 5 or something? No.
I just wrote down the top 3 because that's who I wanted, but I'll find out.
Damn. Trouba leads the team. Yeah, Reeves was dumb because he's only played like 12 games. I thought Laffy might be up there. I was thinking Trocheck for sure.
I forgot all about Trocheck.
I thought at one point Gaudreau was up there with Trouba and Reeves, but
I was between Gaudreau. I forgot about Blais completely. He does throw a lot of hits. I should have got that, but I forgot. I was between Trocheck, Laffy, and Gaudreau for that last
that's all
spot.
Blais does. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say: when you throw a lot of hits, it means you don't have the puck. So
well, he's a 4th line role, and that's what he's doing right now. And it's working.
He's so good. He's such a good player. Part of one of the worst trades in Rangers history. Did you see, by the way, Buchnevich point per game this year, Coach?
No, I don't pay attention to that at all.
Oh, okay. thought you might be interested.
What's
all
the
right,
Blues?
boys.
Are the Blues doing better than the Rangers?
They were on a huge slide with Binnington. I don't know where they are in the standings.
So it's Binnington's fault.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got like a 4 goals against average. I mean, he's a sieve. Did you not watch that game? Those goals should not have gone in. None of them.
He's pretty brutal this year.
They gambled on that and lost so far.
13, 15, and 1. So anyway. All right, boys. Well, hopefully the winning continues. We got a couple of games coming up this week. When's the next game? They play Thursday. You got Mikey Produces will be at that game. That's home. And then they go on the road. Weird little road trip, by the way. They go Philly, at Chicago, at Pittsburgh. Usually you'd think it would go the other way, Philly, Pittsburgh, Chicago, because they're in a row. But weird little road trip. So let's see how they do. Hopefully they can dominate Chicago like they should have at the Garden and give a little payback. It should be interesting to see Torts too. So going to be some fun games to watch, and we'll be back next week on the 20th. We'll be recording, so look out for right before Christmas, another episode. We got a little holiday special episode we're going to drop, a couple of things. Save it for next week, but you can look out for that. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to Little Ed for all the hard work on the social media stuff, making those reels. You sent me some of those videos. It looks very time consuming, so I appreciate it, as do the rest of us. And anything else, boys?
For them.
Great job on the hats.
Yeah, can't wait to get my hats.
Hockey company. All right, I guess we're gonna have to mail it to Florida.
They do look really good. Well, Coach Ed
came out really
Coach
nice.
Ed was just in Florida. He could have dropped it off.
Ooh,
I didn't get it till I got back.
I think I picked them up Friday.
excuses.
Thursday or Friday. Yep.
I mean, I would have drove to Naples to get it. Anyway, all right, boys. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You wouldn't have drove to Naples to see me, but you would have drove to Naples if I had the hat.
Without a doubt.
Well, you wouldn't. You come to Florida, don't even tell me, and you're an hour away. So you're blaming me for not. If you told me, I might have drove to see you. I didn't even know you were there. Anyway, so this is my promise to you guys in the podcast, not the fans. I promise during these games, no matter what happens with the coach, I'm not going to blow up your phones bitching about the coach. Okay.
You definitely will.
I will write it down in a note in my phone and save it for the episode, but I will not do that to you again. Okay. I stand by what I think, but I could see how that would get annoying.
Wait,
Anyway.
ever or in the next two games?
No, in the next, before the next episode. Not
Okay.
ever. I can't make I don't make promises I can't keep, but
It's like I carried away.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, boys. Good episode. Let's go Rangers.
Let's go.
Love
Let's
you
keep
guys.
it going.
boys.
Love you guys.
Keep it going.
Have a good night.
Yeah, definitely.